Hi, this is Akiko from crystalandakiko.com, and today we're going to be making a pop-up present card. It's really cute and super easy. So here I have my lovely lilac paper from Stampin' Up, and it's 8.5 and 11, just cut in half. I'm going to fold it, of course, with my trusty bone folder for a nice clean fold. And inside we actually use the Whisper white paper, and I've already pre-cut the presents, but it's very easy. The top present is 2.5 inches, the middle one is 3 inches, and the bottom one is 3.5 inches. So you just cut a slit in the top and the bottom of the present, make it about 1/2 inch from the top and the bottom, and then the middle pieces are 1/4 inch thin, so it just gives just enough space in between. Then once they're cut, you're just going to fold them inside so that you can create the creases so that it pops up nicely when you open it. Very, very simple. Now I'm going to take my Stampin' Up wheel, and I have the Baroque border on it, and I'm going to use the Regal Rose Stampin' Up ink. I have the Stampin' Spot, and this is a great way to get familiar with all the colors so that if you have favorites, you can get the bigger stamp pad if you want to. And I'm just going to lightly stamp the wheel all over. You want to make sure you get good coverage on the wheel, and you'll have to re-ink the wheel each time you use it, but the first time is really when you use the most. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to wheel the pattern on the paper, but I'm going to do it diagonally. I find a diagonal wheel is much more forgiving in terms of keeping the line straight. It's okay if you go a little bit crooked because it's on an angle, you can't really tell. But the wheels are great for creating an instant patterned paper. So I'm going to do this all the way across my paper. So here's the finished result. It looks beautiful. And now I'm going to take 3 strips of striped paper for the presents, and I'm going to fold them in half and just use my Elmer's glue stick to glue them onto the card. So these are the actual presents, and you can use any patterned paper that you want. I'm just going to glue that on, and make sure that you line up the folds on the strip and on the actual card so it goes in the center of the present, and just make sure it's nice and secure. And you're going to do the same thing for the other 2 presents. Once that's done, it's time to add the ribbon, because what's presents without ribbon? So here I wanted something really fun. I have a 2-tone green striped ribbon. I'm going to put it on the center present. You can put it on all 3 or just the top and bottom or the center, whatever you like. There's a lot of room to play with here. So basically you have 1 strip for each side so it looks like the present is wrapped. And I'm going to use my Zots. I find they're the best for ribbon. And I'm going to take the Zots and put one on each end of the ribbon. And then once I get them on the ribbon there, I'm going to wrap it around one side of the center present and then just fold the ends underneath so that they're hidden and they'll stick underneath. And you do that for both sides. So once that's done, we're going to put a bow at the top. I like to keep the ribbon on the spool when I do bows. I just find it's easier. You have more ribbon to play with. And I'm literally going to tie it just like how you learned how to tie your shoelaces when you were a kid. You create 2 loops and tie them, and you're basically just going to tighten it and pull the ends, and tighten it and pull the ends, and keep doing that until your bow is looking the way you want it to. But this is pretty much a guaranteed way to make a perfect bow. Once it looks how you want it to, remember you want it to be fairly flat, you're going to cut the ends. I like to cut them on an angle. I find it's a little bit prettier that way. So I'm going to cut the ends on an angle. And when you place the bow on the card, make sure it's not on the fold, but on one of the sides. So I'm going to put mine on the right side. And again, I'm going to use my Zots. So I'm just going to stick that on there. Off to the side just slightly. And then that way it can close easily. It's very pretty. It's so easy. And there you have your pop-up presents. So now we're going to glue it to the outer cardstock, which is a lovely lilac. And you can use any adhesive you like. You can use a glue stick, you can use a tape runner. I'm personally going to use my tape runner. And I'm just going to glue that on. Make sure it's a permanent adhesive. So once that's done, we now need to do the inking on the front. So I have my flower from the Polka Dot Punches stamp set from Stampin' Up and the Regal Rose Stampin' Spot, and I'm just going to dab it all over the stamp, and I'm going to put about 3 flowers on the cover, anywhere you want. This is a time to just have fun. And now I have a swirl from the Priceless stamp set and the Certainly Celery Stampin' Spot, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to put the swirl in between the flowers. So I have about 3 swirls and 3 flowers, and you'll just want to re-ink it in between stamping. That way you have a bright picture. Now I also have a little flower from the Priceless stamp set, very cute, and I'm going to use the Craft Whisper White ink. Now Craft ink is perfect for embossing. It's specifically made for that. You don't need to use a Versamark when you put the powder on. The only thing is it's very, very thick. So when you use it normally, just very lightly dab your stamp on the pad. Otherwise, it gets quite messy. And I'm just going to put these flowers all over the front of the card. Once that's done, I just cut a blue strip of turquoise paper from Stampin' Up just to put along the side for a splash of color. So I'm just going to glue that onto the front of the card, just right on the edge where the fold is. And again, you can use any adhesive you like. So just place that on there and just make sure it's nice and secure. And then once that's put on, we're going to do the Happy Birthday on the front, which is from the Teeny Tiny Wishes stamp set. And again, I'm going to use my Regal Rose because it's nice and dark and it'll stand out. And just a scrap piece of Whisper White paper because you don't need that much. So I'm just going to stamp it on. And then we're actually going to use a punch. It's called a word window punch, and we're going to use that to punch out the happy birthday. So once you line it up where you want it, make sure it's in the center of the window. Then you can just punch it out. And now I'm going to glue the happy birthday onto the front of the card. And you can really place this wherever you like. I liked it kind of off to the side, overlapping the turquoise paper. And there you have it. The pop-up present card, so quick and easy to do, and it's really, really pretty. You don't expect to see what you do when you open it up, so it's a really nice surprise. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for Tuesday when Crystal does her card.